This is our top story on ABC News Breakfast. The federal government's mining tax has passed the lower house. The vote was taken in the early hours of the morning after the government managed to strike a late-night deal with the Greens.
Now, the Greens have been concerned about a $20 million shortfall in the tax because of concessions granted to independent MP Andrew Wilkie to secure his support for the bill. But the government will make as yet undisclosed savings elsewhere in the budget to fill that gap. The mining tax won't go before the Senate until early next year.
So for more on how the deal was done, Melissa Clarke joins us now from Canberra. Melissa, good morning. A 3 a.m. deal. What do we know about it?
Well, we know that it was late coming because there were negotiations going on between the government and the Greens all through yesterday. And when it was getting to late last night, it was looking like a deal might not be struck, or at least not on that day. But then late in the evening, the Greens member in the House of Representatives, Adam Bandt, announced that, in fact, the government and the Greens had reached a deal, that there had been an agreement that the $20 million a year or $100 million over the next 5 years that was now extra, or that was now going to be missing by the fact that these concessions had been made for Andrew Wilkie to raise the threshold at which the tax kicks in, that there'd been an agreement that an extra revenue measure would be made to compensate for that, although what that measure is we don't know, because the Greens say they're not at liberty to reveal because the government wants to announce it in a couple of days' time. So that meant that a vote could take place in the lower house, and by the time they went through each of the different pieces of legislation and amendments were moved and votes were taken, it didn't actually wrap up until 2:45 in the morning. But nonetheless, the Greens say that having struck that deal, they were satisfied enough for it to go through the lower house. And this is Adam Bandt speaking late last night.
We are satisfied that it is a progressive measure, and that the savings will now not be coming from schools, from childcare, from hospitals, which is something that we were concerned about. So we now think that the mix is right to allow the passage of the bill through the House of Representatives. But we'll have a look at the final bill when it comes to the Senate, and we'll reserve our position there because we still remain concerned that fundamentally what is meant to be a once-in-a-lifetime tax that will set us up for generations has been weakened too much, but something is better than nothing.
Adam Bandt there. But in the time we have left, Melissa, let's try and clarify two quick points. One is, why can't the Senate vote on this in the time remaining this week? And the other point is, why can't we know the details of what the $20 million cut is?
Well, firstly, with the Senate, when this legislation now goes to the Senate, what we'll have is the Greens refer it off to a scrutiny of bills committee, and that takes time. So even if they quickly hurry it into the Senate, that Senate investigation into that piece of legislation mean there's no way it will happen either by the end of the week or even by the end of next week if they were to have an extra sitting. So there's no point in rushing it because it won't happen by the end of the year. So they'll now wait until the new year for that to go through the Senate. And of course, the government not having control of the Senate, if the Greens want to refer it off, that will be that. So that's why it won't get through the Senate this year, as much as the government might like it to. When it comes to the matter of why we can't know, well, we could know if the government wanted us to know, but I imagine it will be a change that they will announce either in or in the lead up to the release of the budget update. From the Greens, they're saying it's an extra revenue measure. Now, they say it's not a new tax, so it's likely to be a change in a current tax. Okay. So that's where we're expecting the revenue to come from. Basically, we just have to be at the mercy of the government until they feel like revealing all.
Very strange. Makes it sound much more mysterious than it probably needs to be by doing it this way. But anyway, we'll see how long they take to reveal it. Melissa, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much.